Howdy peeps, welcome back to the channel for another section of the Eduard Spitfire build. Last time I had just done the wash on the upper surfaces using the Ultimate Modelling Products Dark Dirt clay base wash, and since then I have done similar on the underside with the earth colour wash, which is, it's a lighter brown. Still maybe a little bit to clean off, but we're alright for now. So what was going to be next? Well, pretty much just leaves the exhaust streaks and maybe some chipping. And I have an idea for something I've not tried before, so first time on camera. This could go badly wrong, or it could go really well. Whichever way, there will either be a new tip, or you'll get to laugh as I swear in frustration when something goes badly wrong. I'll just have a quick swig and I'll carry on. That's better. Right. So, first of all, there's going to be chipping underneath whatever other exhaust soot or muck I'm going to put on in a bit. So let me just clean my glasses off as well, covered in dust and God knows what. That's better, I can see. Oh, sort myself out. I really should have done all this before I hit record, shouldn't I? Anyway, and looking into the light, bad idea. Well, I had a theory, thought, brainwave, brain fart, whichever it happens to be, regarding the chipping. Now, this is something I've always struggled with on aircraft. Is getting chipping that looks not like someone painted it. And I have an idea and a theorem. This is the Citadel dry brush paint, the Necron compound, which is silver, bright silver. And if I open it up, you'll see it's not really a paint, it's more just if I tip it upside down, nothing falls out. Right? So it's a thick paste more than a paint. So my thinking was, if I use that with a sponge, just a piece of packing sponge is what it is. Same kind of sponge I used on the SU-76. I think it is actually the same piece of sponge. I forget what it came out of, probably a resin kit or a resin part of some description. I think it actually came out of some brassing stuff. So we're going to attempt to apply some chips where people would have walked, maybe around the edges of the cockpit and on the propeller, and we'll see how we go. We'll see what occurs. It might work, it might go badly wrong after about 2 seconds, and I decided it was a bad idea to start with, but if you don't try these things, you don't find out, and someone's got to be the guinea pig. Because this paint is so thick and gloopy, just a quick dip and yep, I'll do. We'll start off on the pilot side. So if we start, my theory being that as it's such a thick gloopy paint, should be able to gradually build up the chipping and the scratching and what have you, without it just merging into one big mess. Got a bit too much on that corner of the sponge. Get the hair off. So this is where I would assume the majority of the chipping would be, with some further up. And we'll add a little around the edge of the cockpit where the cockpit would open or the door would be opened. Things just get scraped and scuffed. I'm kind of happy with how that's looking. It might need a bit of a wash after to tone it down a little, but we can, because it doesn't dry too quick, we might be able to smudge it about a bit and get rid of that big blob. There we go. So I don't know how well that's showing up. You can see we've got some fairly big chippy bits and some really quite delicate small ones. Blow the dust off. I'll add a little more on this side, but as this is just the side the ground crew will be walking up to check the oil or refill the fuel tanks or whatever it is they have to do on the wings, we'll keep it more subtle that side. Get more around the back edge. And I might add a little more down here as well. I wouldn't call that a complete failure or a complete success. It's like most techniques or methods, it's going to take some practice to get it just how you want it. I've had a little bit along the wing leading edges because they're going to get a bit dinged up. Now I'm not sure whether this had metal or wooden wings. I think they were metal, I guess so. A bit down the leading edges of the prop, or what look like leading edges to me anyway. It might be a trailing edge, but meh, who cares. Nothing too sinister or overdone. We'll add a little bit around the edges of the gear bay doors where they would close, you know, opening and closing may well scratch the paint a little. Nothing much, just a little. And around the intake and just on the tip of the nose as well. And I think we are about there. Just add a little more just to try and tie things together a little. That'll do for that. Dun, dun, dun. As I say, I'd qualify that as an idea that kind of worked okay. I'll bear that in mind as well for future builds. Now onto the exhaust. Now, there are several ways of doing exhaust staining. Me being me, I go for the quick, easy, dirty option rather than slow and delicate or subtle. So I'll just pop out a little paint mixing pot, get rid of the shiny clean cutting mat, go back to manky dirty one so we don't spray paint all over that, and then have a look-see through my paint rack. Tamiya smoke, flat brown. I think I might add a little grey into it as well, if I can find a Tamiya grey. There we go, neutral grey, that'll do. Now, if you have an empty Tamiya pot or resealable pot, then you can make up a decent bunch or decent batch. Let me just pop that so it's actually in shot. There we go. you can make up a good batch and then just have exhaust smoke ready to go whenever you need it. The base of this is going to be the Tamiya smoke, which will give us a more transparent, less opaque colour, and start out with it looking a bit sooty as well. So we'll add 1, 7 drops of that. Give the pipette a quick clean out, just so we don't cross-contaminate paints. Put the smoke to one side. I say to one side, I mean with the other, with the rest of the honking great stack and pile of paints that are littering the bench at the moment. Let's go with three drops of brown. Again, clean out the pipette, get rid of the excess water, and then I'll give it a shake. I'm not actually sure if there's any paint in it. There's something in there. This tin of paint is probably about, or pot of paint is probably about 20 years old, so this is the thing, some of my paints, as I say, are probably 20 years old. It's I built models as a little boy. As you do, you stick them together, big glue bombs, no paint, maybe slap a few decals on them. A couple of days, weeks later, they get launched out the bedroom window or blown up with a firecracker or whatever you happen to do to them. Then I went into the Games Workshop when I was late teens, early 20s. And then when I was working in the model shop, I would do some of the ones that will build the display models. So I'll do that's enough. So yeah, over the years I kind of kept my hand in, so I'd still build something occasionally or paint something occasionally. But it's only since I recently got back into the hobby that I started with weathering and all that kind of good stuff. It was always totally out of the box. Whatever happened to came out. Yeah, I think that's probably a little too light. We might need to add a drop of black to that to bring it back down again. It does look a bit too grey or browny grey to me. So. Paint mix, you can keep playing with it till you got it right, and probably doesn't help that I'm pretty much shade blind, so I do struggle to see the difference sometimes. And let's add a bit more black, tone it back a bit further still. Ah, it looks more like it. Yeah, maybe a little more. Yeah, maybe I should have just gone with 2 and 1 of the brown and the grey rather than 3 and 2. But hey ho, we're about there now. And here I've thinned it with Mr. Colour Leveling Thinner, so here is where I should put a mask on and ventilate and do all that. Great, air valve sticking on my airbrush. Ooh. Is that the valve sticking or the trigger sticking? Let's have a quick look. It's the trigger. Yeah, it's probably got some paint up in there somewhere. Let's just drop a drop of thinner down there. And just see if we can't work it a bit loose. As I said a couple of episodes ago, probably when I was painting this Spitfire, the seals in the back end of my airbrush are basically gone. So I tend to get almost as much paint coming out the back of the airbrush as I do the front. So yeah, it seems a bit better. Shake out the excess thinner. Ooh. Yeah, we'll make sure we get the thread straight. There we are. Yep, that's got it. Ooh. Pull that in. I'll say if this is too light, we can still go back over it with a bit more Tamiya smoke. I'll turn the compressor off because we don't need it on for this. There's plenty of air in the tank just to do these. So firstly, yep, that's spraying. Very little pull back on the trigger. So we get nice smooth transition. So we've not got. Let me just blow it off clean again. And we're pretty much there on those. I'll just dump the rest of that paint in my dumped paint cleaning receptacle. Spray the rest through. A few drops of thinner, back flush. Just using the thinner because it's what I've got at hand at the moment. Just clean the worst of the gunk out. Chuck that in the bin. And chuck that in the pot. Grab airbrush cleaner. Squelch, squirt. That's coming through clean. spraying okay. Needle might need a bit of a clean down later, but meh. Got some priming to do, so that's not a big deal. So we have our, try and get it in the light without blinding myself, we have our exhaust staining done down the sides. Maybe a little brown, but you know, we can soon darken that up later if I want to, with a couple of drops of smoke. Some chipping done on the walkways and the prop, and I think we're about there. I don't think there's anything else needs doing on the underside. Looks relatively well cleaned up. So it's just a wait for the exhaust stains and the chipping that will dry up, and then give it a coat of flat, and all done. So I'll call it here for now, and the next video will be a very short one, because it will just be a reveal. And there we go. I hope the series has been helpful, enjoyable, amusing, time passing, sleep inducing, background waffle. Maybe you learnt something, maybe you didn't, maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't, who knows. If you've got any thoughts, let me know in the comments down there somewhere. Either thumb up, thumb down, subscription, whichever. If you click the bell icon, then that will let you know every time I upload a video, which is usually Monday morning and Friday mornings. Sometimes I might be a bit out depending on work or when I wake up or whatever. But so next time will probably be a little 5-minute video, maybe, you know, something like that, maybe even shorter, and just say ta-da. Anyway, thanks for watching, enjoy your modelling, have fun, peace out, rock on, and bye bye.